democratic, consultative, and participatory governance tradition, I dare add that the county assemblies are at the core of improving governance in our country. In conclusion, I want to urge all of us to always remember that we cannot have counties without the Senate. Conversely, we cannot have a Senate without the counties. Ours is a symbiotic relationship, one which requires mutual. Honorable Senators, we don't have gadgets to praise Speaker. You'll Senator Eldoret, Senator Kamar, Professor. UASIN GISHU.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to add to your welcome statement and to say a word of welcome to honorable senators during this historic sitting in UASIN GISHU County Assembly. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the people of UASIN GISHU County, the county government of UASIN GISHU, and on my own behalf, I would like to take this singular opportunity to welcome all senators and you, Mr. Speaker, to UASIN GISHU. Mr. Speaker, I will forever be grateful to the Senate for accepting in one voice to bring the first sitting ever outside Nairobi to UASIN GISHU County. We are very excited about this sitting, and we expect them to visit the committees and the plenary sessions during this 1 week. For the committees, those who will be holding site visits, you will be warmly welcome. The people of UASIN GISHU are very warm and very generous people. Mr. Speaker, I know that already committees have felt the presence of the public, including professionals. I managed to go into the Committee of Health in the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, and we saw a wonderful interaction there. The people of UASIN GISHU, Mr. Speaker, are looking forward not only for interactions, but also they are looking forward to contributing to legislations by the various committees after this sitting. Our farmers are very eager to listen to the Agriculture Committee and the Ad hoc Committee tomorrow in the County Hall, just as our business community is looking forward to the public hearing on the private-public partnership bill that has been set by the committee. So we are all set and they are all ready. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, may I once more say thank you very much for according us the honor to host you, and I want to wish each and every one of you a very successful time in your meetings. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator James Orengo.
What that court had to say. It makes me proud because everything we have done, mostly all the time, is for the interests of this country. I've never seen in other chambers and in other parliaments before where it is possible to develop a bipartisan spirit in order to talk about a bill or a motion, or even electing to come to this county. We didn't have a lot of debate about it Mr. Speaker, you know about it. And it was important that we make that point. And to emphasize that when we come to this county, we're coming to the bread basket of this nation. And I pray that one day, the sins of the national government will not be visited to the county governments. In Nigeria now, Lagos is talking about being the 3rd or 4th largest economy in Africa. California prides itself of being the 5th largest economy in the world. I mean that this county should also go down. The county can still go up. But we want the county and make Kenya, and the people of Kenya are like we are seated here, Nobody can, looking at you, may make mistakes about certain people. If you didn't have 6 teeth like I don't have, you may determine where I come from. But this is
the rooms. The county assembly should not struggle the way we are struggling to have tents where we are going to meet. The county assembly should not struggle, Mr. Speaker, to have speaking equipments around where they are sitting. It must be, although I agree with Senator Orengo of what Winston Churchill said, Mr. Speaker, Winston Churchill was of yesteryears. The county assemblies must be made as modern as possible for them to discharge their responsibility. That is not to discount what he said. His point was in relation to something else. But, Mr. Speaker, in relation to technology, Mr. Speaker, and, Mr. Speaker, to the relationship that we must have with our county assemblies, I strongly believe that we did the best thing to enhance the resources of county assemblies when we were dealing with the ceilings, Mr. Speaker, and we can continue doing more to ensure that the county assemblies have the resources to do their job. We are happy to be in UASIN GISHU. For me, it is both to celebrate as a senator, but also to welcome you to come to this region of North Rift. As part of the North Rift region, my county is just next door. Feel at home, Mr. Speaker. We have already started good interactions with the people of this UASIN GISHU County. Today we had very good interactions, Mr. Speaker. I had the privilege of leading a team to go to MTRH and the university to discuss matters of health. And, Mr. Speaker, we are actually need, and this is my last statement, because Orengo had more than 3 lasts. This is my last one. The Senate of the Republic of Kenya must not be ashamed of what we did to come to UASIN GISHU. Instead, Mr. Speaker, we must make our UASIN GISHU declaration that at least 4 to 5 times a year, we are holding our similar sessions in different counties in the Republic of Kenya. If we continue doing that, Mr. Speaker, we will provide critical, in fact, because I have visited the Tana River County Assembly and I have visited Wajir County Assembly, we must actually choose to go to the most difficult county assemblies so that we have the greatest pain and feel the greatest suffering that county assemblies are going through and the counties are going through, so that we can give the proper intervention. When counties say they need money, we will, Mr. Speaker, speak from a point of information that those counties actually need money and need our protection. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Order, members. I wish to make a communication. I wish to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's gallery this afternoon of invited dignitaries who have joined us for this auspicious occasion of the inaugural sitting of the Senate outside Nairobi in UASIN GISHU County. I invited the dignitaries in recognition of their key role and partnership with the Senate on devolution. I request each one of them to stand when called out so that they may. Honorable Johnson Osoi, Speaker Kajiado County. Honorable Beatrice Elachi, Speaker Nairobi County. Honorable Philemon Sabulei, Speaker Elgeyo Marakwet County. Honorable Catherine Mukinyang, Speaker West Pokot County Assembly. Honorable Joshua Kipto, Speaker Nandi County Assembly. Honorable David Kiplagat, Speaker Baringo County Assembly. Honorable Joshua Werunga, Speaker Trans Nzoia County. Mr. S.K. Choge, Clerk, UASIN GISHU County Assembly. Ms. Jane Mutai, Clerk, Elgeyo Marakwet County Assembly. Ms. Isabella Chebet, Clerk, Nandi County Assembly. Mr. Inea Indakwa, Clerk, Trans Nzoia County Assembly. Ms. Washeke Washira, County Representative, Ahadi. Ms. Maureen Oduor, County Representative, Westminster Foundation for Democracy. Patrick Wafula, Clerk, Kakamega County Assembly. On behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I wish to thank our guests for honoring our invitation and joining us on this auspicious occasion. I thank you. Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. And I wish, let me keep your...
Short.
3 minutes.
I'll keep it short, yes. Mr. Speaker, thank you for your communication. Mr. Speaker, I often quote the Bible. Even this occasion I will. Where it says, where two are gathered in his name, he shall be there. We have gathered here, 2 or 3 are gathered. I've seen some comments about our visit here. For those who are in doubt, we had a very successful meeting this morning with the Committee of Finance and the executives of UASIN GISHU County, together with the County Assembly, in a makeshift tent. This morning, we have also had a very successful visit at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital. I don't think I would have known that this county hospital serves 21 counties if we had not come to Eldoret. And if we had not come here, we would not have had the things that we do. The County Public Accounts Committee, Mr. Speaker, is meeting with governors. They spend money coming to Nairobi. We have come here to listen to them. Mr. Speaker, we have demonstrated humility by sitting in the county assembly to demonstrate, Mr. Speaker, just like in the Bible, those who come down, they will be raised by the good Lord. So have faith. Just like Majority Leader, we should go to Tana River, we should go to Lodwar, and let's cross by boat and go to Lamu County. Listen to them, ride on those donkeys, so that then, just like in the Bible, we can be lifted high. Mr. Speaker, I have no regrets whatsoever coming to us in GISHU, and I'm sure by the time we finish, devolution will be much better because of the things that we will do here. We should make a resolution, Mr. Speaker, to suspend a lot of our sittings in Nairobi and sit amongst the people of Kenya and leave those ones who think that they are big because they make themselves big to sit in Nairobi. I will choose to sit in Wote and many other places. Mr. Speaker, there's no contradiction with senators having offices in county assemblies. The people of UASIN GISHU, may God bless you. The county of champions, we want to tell you that the champions of devolution are in town. Thank you.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I too rise to thank the people of UASIN.
Order, members, the speed at which you stand will save you. So, let's,
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think you should tell them the taller they are, the better. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for this opportunity. This is a great opportunity for the people of Kenya to realize that this house is indeed the House of Union, a house that has come in to listen to the people. Mr. Speaker, sir, earlier on today, I sat across there, and the governor of Baringo sat here, and we got a chance to be able to go through, queries which were raised by the Auditor General, and that gave us an opportunity to be able to speak to these governors on the importance of them collecting revenue. Mr. Speaker, sir, during this time when the national government is proposing to reduce money which is going to be sent to the county governments, it was important for us to be able to emphasize on the point of raising local revenue. Because it's a shame, Mr. Speaker, sir, that during the defunct local authorities, county council used to raise more money than what the county governments are doing at the moment. And I'm quite happy because we have a few governors who are here. I can also see the speakers of other assemblies. I think it is imperative now that they observe, they learn what we do in close proximity, to be able to ensure that the laws that we're going to be discussing here are not just laws these counties. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, with those few remarks, I thank you and I appreciate and I hope that next time we'll go to Narok. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Dulo. Gender balance.
Gender balance, gender balance.
Gender balance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. It's really important for us to have also gender balance, yeah? Mr. Speaker, Let me take this opportunity to thank Governor for UASIN GISHU and his team and the Speaker of County Assembly of UASIN GISHU for the work they have done. I remember we were here a week ago when actually most of what you have seen outside there were not in place. And I think it's really important for us to say thank you to UASIN GISHU County for the work they have done to make sure that the Senate sitting is successful today. Secondly, word go. Even when we came here as a first leadership team, he really had shown a lot of humility. He was actually running up and down to make sure that he has received us wherever we were, and to make sure that he has received us well. I think this is really very important for the leadership of the counties, and I think they should be able to get an example of Governor Mandago as he has received the Senate. Mr. Speaker, most of the people, they have really doubt what is the work of the Senate in this country. But I think today, the country has really seen the work of the Senate. We were able to interact with county assembly members this morning when we had a petition from Kericho and Bomet in terms of land issues. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing as fulfilling as having service delivery being presented to the people of UASIN GISHU or various counties to be able to deal with the issues firsthand instead of them going all the way to Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, I think as Majority Leader has said, we should be able to have more sitting like this because this will be able to build capacity and interact and share a partnership with our colleagues at the county level so that we are able to deliver services as required within the laws of this country. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we had a sitting this morning with the governor, with his members of staff, so that they can be able to get first experience in terms of what is required from them. Mr. Speaker, I think I would appeal to this Senate that the next sitting should be in a place that is not as rich as UASIN GISHU. And I'll propose Isiolo County for this matter. And I will be able to lobby my colleagues to make sure that we have the next sitting to improve the economy of our countries. Thank you.
Senator George Khaniri. Oh, sorry.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity and join you and my colleagues who have spoken before me in thanking the residents of UASIN GISHU County for the hospitality and the love and warmth that they have shown to the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, for those who had doubt about devolution, this is a clear demonstration that devolution is here to stay. The biggest gain that Kenyans got in the Constitution 2010, of course, is devolution. And one of the three main pillars of devolution is the Senate. Of course, the other ones being the county assemblies and the county governments. The Senate, as provided for in Article 96 of our Constitution, serves to represent counties. No better way to represent people than going to them, feel them, get to know their problems firsthand. And that is what we have embarked on, Mr. Speaker. I want to second and support the idea that we should at least endeavor to visit 4 counties in every calendar year that we have. And on that note, take this opportunity to welcome you to the great county of Vihiga that I represent. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Lastly, Honorable Senator Haji, we have a heavy day and you will be able to contribute. We have many, many issues that you'll...
Because I join my colleagues and I must express the fact that I'm involved. But this morning, your Speaker, I'm really convinced that I had an opportunity to attend the Finance Committee meeting I had also the opportunity to attend the meeting of devolution. And of course, I held the Security Committee meeting with our colleagues from the MCAs here in Eldoret. And I think we would have not been able to get this opportunity if we stayed in Nairobi. So, Mr. Speaker, from now onward, I'll be supporting. And the time has come for you to come to North. The North, where it has been marginalized for many years. I invite you to Garissa to come and drink camel milk, Mr. Speaker. And finally, I want to apologize to His Excellency, the Governor of Nandi, somebody with whom I have related very well when we were in the Senate, that I was not able to go to Nandi yesterday.
Order number 4, petition.
And we are the source of champions. So I want to assure you, and also Elgeyo Marakwet. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Secondly, I want to say it is an honor to be in UASIN GISHU for Senate Mashinani. And I want to tell the critics, the naysayers, the prophets of doom, that Senate is not going anywhere because it is the engine of devolution. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, allow me to read a petition to the Senate concerning the operations of Karebe Gold Mine Limited in Tindre Sub-County, Nandi County. Draw the attention of the Senate to the following. 1, that Karebe Gold Mining Limited is a British firm carrying out gold exploration, mining and processing in Kenya, and is currently ranked as the large gold producer in the country with $1 million per month with 3 separate mines in Western Kenya. Second, that one of these mines is located at Chemase area in Tindre Sub-County, near a place called Kibisem, in a sub-county, Tindre Sub-County of Nandi. Number 3, that workers at the farm are subject to harsh working conditions, including working in ordinarily long hours without the safety and protective equipment required when working in the mines. 4th, that as a result, many current and former employees of the farm have been affected by myriad of illness, including loss of hearing and breathing complications, with farm failing to provide them with either an appropriate medical cover or competition. 5, that the farm has also a group of Chemase, Tindre Sub-County, has further failed to compensate property owners whose houses have destroyed due to blasting activities of the mines. Number 6, that the farm has failed to engage with locals in carrying out its operation, which are shrouded in secrecy and does not carry out corporate social responsibility projects in the area for the benefit of the local community. 7, that despite the farm extracting gold from the area, the local community has not benefited in any way from this previous precious resource and have instead been left in a worse off position that were in before this farm commenced operations in this area. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is worth noting under the Mining Act that we have, Mining Act number 2016 on mining rules and regulations, one of the role of community development agreement is they should get 1% out of the 1.2 billion that they generate after every financial year, Mr. Speaker, sir. Number 8, that we have made the best efforts to have these matters addressed by the relevant authorities, all of which have failed to give satisfactory response to the people of Chemase and Nandi County. 9, that none of these issues raised in this petition is pending in any court of law, constitutional or any other legal body. Whereof your humble petitioners pray that the Senate investigates this matter and makes appropriate recommendation thereon with a view to ensuring that the rights of workers at the farm are respected, that the local community benefits from the extraction of gold in the area, and that if found culpable of breaches of law and or other malpractices, action is taken against the directors of this farm. And B, ensuring that appropriate rules and regulations are put in place giving effect to the Mining Act of 2016 and mining rules and regulations of the same with regard to managing relations between extractive farms and local communities, including in the decision making on the matters affecting them. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I've seen senators from the regions where natural resources is being extracted. And I can say if you go to Chemase, the classical strategy of what the miners be purporting is the owner of the land by the name. Only corporate social responsibility that Karebe Gold Mine has done is building toilets only. And I don't think that is appropriate, because as a corporate social responsibility, it is very shameful, Mr. Speaker, sir. Secondly, even they have come to see for themselves, and they have decided. That is why Senate is very important in this country. They look anywhere else, but they decided the only place that their prayers and the refuge of wisdom and the source of their getting the legal remedy is in the Senate. So I want to urge my colleagues, any committee that Mr. Speaker, sir, you will refer, is that it should be handled expeditiously. We want the natural resource that we extract in this country, Mr. Speaker, sir, to benefit the local communities that come from that place. Before we discuss even going to the national government, to the county government, we must also discuss and ensure the rights of those individuals that come from those areas, Mr. Speaker, sir. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to call upon, even let us use the Karebe Gold Mine in Chemase sub-county as a classical example to ensure our people get rightfully what they belong in Article 43 on the right to protection of environment, and in Article 43 on economic and social rights, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I know when the people of Chemelil, Chemase, and the great people of Nandi will get this opportunity, they will always remember the Senate, and they will always pray for this house so that it continue to do its work, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, because of interest of the time, and I know members have interest, allow me to end it there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 231, I shall now allow comments, observations, or clarifications in relation to the petition for not more than 30 minutes. Senator Cheriot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this petition by my good neighbor and friend, Senator Cherargei. This is something that is elected into the Senate, was when he was canvassing for issues around this Chemase gold mine. And on many occasions before I could, that live around this area, and the suffering that they've had to endure due to this quote-unquote investors. We look at them as investors, but the truth of the matter is that these are people who've come to our country because of the weakness of our laws. They are able to impoverish our nation and take away natural resources with very little benefits that are being extended to the people that live close by. I want to urge this Senate, the committee, that you shall commit this matter to be put before, that let them get to the deep detail of the concerns that are being raised by residents of Chemase. Let them find justice in this house. Mr. Speaker, there's a concept that I do not seem to agree with. And I say this because this morning during our sitting here in UASIN GISHU, we also had a chance to listen to a petition from residents of Kericho County who had come also to raise their voice of protest with us as a Senate of what happens to them 50, 60 years after independence, their land having been taken over by colonialists. As a people, they've never been compensated, and up to date, there is nothing that they enjoy from their land. Yet, during the contribution times, you could hear a certain line of thought being pushed, especially by our colleagues, senators from the legal fraternity, that there are legal issues around it that as a Senate, we cannot address ourselves to it. The sanctity of Senate and Parliament as an institution.
We worked like we've never worked before for 2 years. Because what do we want? We as Senate represent counties and the interests of those counties. These interests include human beings having the dignity to live in their counties, to work for those counties, and to be remunerated properly for the work that they put in those counties. When you hear that they are working under harsh conditions, when you hear that the owners have not been compensated, Mr. Speaker, when you hear that the rights of the workers have not been put into place, and yet structures can be put into place to ensure that this doesn't happen. Mr. Speaker, it is not very difficult to come up with a fiscal regime that ensures that right from the bottom, from the top right up to the bottom, or indeed, if you wish, also resources benefit sharing bill, Mr. Speaker. And this bill is coming up again shortly. We have tried to address the issue of money bill and actually created another authority rather than the one we had, so that we actually are able to ensure that at the end of the day, the revenue, they have to be answered, and the proportions that need to be given out. Mr. Speaker, after the Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill, other bills have actually looked at the whole idea of compensation proposals, which is a good thing. But even the Mining Now Act 2016 does not have those provisions. So it simply says a certain amount distribution will go up to the lowest level, that is the community, 25%, and 75% remain in the national. But for as long as we have bills that give a provision but do not put the adequate structures to ensure that happens, then it is all in futility. We need our communities to be happy. We need them not to see natural resources as a curse. We need Karebe Gold Mining Limited to be vindicated. Mr. Speaker, we support this petition. Thank you very much.
Senator Ephraim Maina.
It's on. I expected the light. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I like to support this petition and actually commend the Kalegia Senator Bonande. I have seen him fighting this case all over in the media, but it has been going on for a long, long time. Mr. Speaker, this Senate, let's face it, we are, on a matter like this, we can only resort into going to a committee. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, and in this regard, I want to address Mr. Amos Wako, who was the Attorney General, Senior Counsel, my friend Olengo. When the Constitution was being made, that was the right time to actually empower this House, such that on matters like this, we can make decisions that are more or less paralegal. But now, we are reduced maybe just to making the decision, and one knows the long route. We have the senator has said there is an old man here who has come all the way. Because of the pain he has been going through, justice has to do with the time it is delivered, Mr. Speaker. And I'm saying, if the Senate is empowered, there are many things it will actually streamline in this country. And I want to say at this juncture, if the Kalegia senator had been given the oversight funds, maybe he would have gone and employed the best lawyer like Mutura Kilonzo to represent these people. That is what is required. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to say we look forward to that time. But before then, I call upon you to actually ask the committee that will look into this matter to see the inhuman thing and expedite it. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, let me also put it here that we are not here to scare out investors. We are here to work in a civilized manner with any investor who will come to Kenya and benefit the local people, and also he make whatever money he is making. But it is deplorable, it's inhuman that one is making billions and he cannot afford a paltry sum to...
Proceed, Senator Wetangula.
Mr. Speaker, whichever committee you are committing this petition to should go beyond listening to the complainants and coming to table a report and we forget about it. This petition reflects on many issues that we have noted in this country. Mr. Speaker, one may recall it was a South African miner that literally used to pack material mined in raw form in containers and take to South Africa. Purportedly for research. And everybody knew he was carrying away gold and all other minerals attendant to gold. We need to ask ourselves, Mr. Speaker, why this late hour?
In the business of the House, one of the senators who was seated here stood up and demeaned my contribution and even brushed me off and said, you think this is a county assembly? I am glad today he is seated in the chambers of the county assembly of UASIN GISHU. Mr. Speaker, Senator Murkomen categorically demeaned my status as a senator of Kakamega.
What is your point of order, Senator, Leader of Majority?
Mr. Speaker, is the Senator Malala in order, Mr. Speaker, to first of all introduce a debate, Mr. Speaker, that was concluded by the Speaker at that time. But most importantly, Mr. Speaker, how did I demean Senator Malala when I called him former MCA and the Deputy Minority Leader, Mr. Speaker? I thought by doing so, I was actually elevating the position of MCA to a higher level that you can, Mr. Speaker, you can rise from being an MCA to a Deputy Minority Leader, Mr. Speaker. I thought that was a good thing.
I will check the records if that is what you said.
Yeah.
Then Senator Malala has no point to complain.
Nevertheless,
proceed.
Mr. Speaker, the Bible says forgive and forget. So I hereby forgive Senator Murkomen for those reckless utterances. Mr. Speaker,
what's your point of order, Senator?
Mr. Speaker, first of all, Mr. Speaker, I don't know which Bible Senator Malala is reading, but this one, like forgiving and forgetting, I thought you forgive and remember that you forgive. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, the Senate Majority Leader cannot make reckless remarks. And particularly, Mr. Speaker, if it is in the person of Murkomen, who has been the critical defender of MCS, Mr. Speaker, from the time Senator Malala was elected. That's why my defense, Mr. Speaker, enabled him to come to this house. Mr. Speaker, I think my record speaks for itself. Senator Mutula will bear me witness. Governor Sang from the gallery will bear me witness, Mr. Speaker. And the former Senator of Mombasa, Senator Hassan Omar, will bear me witness, because the three of us did a lot of work to protect the likes of Malala, Mr. Speaker. Now they are enjoying that protection in this house, Mr. Speaker. Can I make really regular statements, Mr. Speaker?
Moving forward, Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the petition by Senator Fonandi. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this matter is... Mr. Speaker, we have a company which came to do leaching using cyanide for and chemical terminologies. Cyanide is a combination of carbon atoms bonded with triple nitrogens. I want to tell you that this is a very poisonous chemical, Mr. Speaker. And the leaching company is using cyanide. Cyanide, Mr. Speaker, which cyanamide, whatever, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Malala. Can you use the correct terminologies? Don't mislead the House.
Mr. Speaker, it depends which school you went to. Mr. Speaker, the most important thing here is that the contamination of Isuhu River, Mr. Speaker. The company is using Isuhu River to do leaching, Mr. Speaker, which is poisonous. Downstream, it's killing our animals, killing our people, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this petition should not be limited to Nandi County alone. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of communities benefiting from mining companies, Mr. Speaker, the Mining Act is very clear on the issues of CDA, Community Development Act.
Completely mislead the House, Mr. Speaker, about mining licenses, Mr. Speaker. When we know this House passed a very important law, which is the Mining Act, Mr. Speaker, that has responsibility on mining. Mr. Speaker, is it in order? Or are these some of the things I was raising last week?
Order.
Mr. Speaker,
Senator Malala.
I simply said trading licenses. It is the mandate. And Mr. Murkomen, Honorable Murkomen, I would like to encourage you. in 2022 kindly vie for the seat of member of county assembly in Elgeyo Marakwet, so that you understand
Order, senators. Order, senators.
Of trading licenses, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Malala.
Of trading licenses, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Malala. The more you continue talking, the more you are confusing yourself. I think you are safer sitting down. Order. Senator Wetangula, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, my point of order is it in order for the Senator for Kakamega to continue? Is it in order for the Senator for Kakamega to continue using terminologies interchangeably as if they mean the same thing? I think we should correct the Hansard. Mining is not trading, and trading is not mining. So we can't say that when you're talking of mining, you meant trading, and when you talk of trading, you meant mining. Mr. Speaker.
Order, senators. You know, what's your point of order, Senator Sakaja?
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I have two concerns. Number one, is it in order for us to use the standing orders and points of order to actually bring in arguments and debate? Number two, Mr. Speaker, I have noticed since we started this sitting that you have not realized that there's a backbench in this house, because not a single member from the top row has been allowed to speak. Mr. Speaker, because Mr. Speaker, you must remember, in as much as Senator Kamar is welcoming you here, I am the one who has lost you from Nairobi. So I need an opportunity to also contribute to the matters before us.
All the members, like I mentioned at the beginning, we have very, very weighty matters still coming. You will have an opportunity to contribute unless you want to contribute to these ones that may not look very... Order, members, the time is up for the petitions. And honorable senators, pursuant to Standing Order 2321, the petition stands committed to the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. In terms of Standing Order 2322, the committee is required in not more than 60 days from the time of reading the prayer to respond to the petitioner by way of a report addressed to the petitioner and laid on the table of the Senate. I thank you. Next order. What's your point of order, Senator Faki Mombasa?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I wanted to say is that we should acknowledge the presence of the Mr. Kibor, who I understand is in the House.
I was just going to make that communication.
Thank you.
Raja, what is your point of?
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I just beg that you might consider the views of the chair. There are certain elements that touch on different committees.
That is on the floor. That is final. I do not see the reason why keep on going back to and forth. Whereas you have made a ruling on this one. Is it in order? Can we move on?
Okay, the committee has directed, it goes to the Committee of Labor. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
At that point, we have a supplementary order paper, which we now turn to the supplementary order paper. Yes. What is the supplementary order paper?